morning. Let me know when you guys can hear me and see me. How's everyone doing today? Oh, already got quite a few comments. Let's see. You can hear and see me. Thank you, Improved Garage. Yeah, I think we have figured out all of our sound issues. So yeah, I know we don't normally do live streams on Sunday, but I thought this would be a fun little surprise. Before we get started, as many of you may or may not be aware, we were MIA last week because we had a bit of a family tragedy. And I want to thank you all very, very much for all of the kind words and thoughts and prayers that you sent our way through the community page. I want you guys to know that it meant the world to Kristi. She is not going to be on this live stream with us today. We're giving her some time to kind of just get back into the swing of things and recover and all of that. So, but I want you to know that she really, really does appreciate everything that you guys said, sent, DM'd, put in the comments. It really meant the world to her and to me. So she may or may not kind of pop into the comments here throughout this stream, but I just wanted to throw that out there so that if you guys don't have to ask. I'm sure some people will join us late and have to ask, but that's that. So yeah, surprise, Sunday. Thought we would do this, a bit of a bonus. And so let's just have some fun. Let's have some fun. And I can see that, oh man, there's already a bunch of comments. I'm going to do my best to handle everything. I got my computer kind of up, so you're not always staring at like the top of my head here. Okay, so let's see here. I saw one up here earlier when y'all were Brett S. Anyone buy an AVR and find you need an amp to give the power older receivers have because they cram so much and made heatsink so small they kick out? Hook up the Denon 8K and took it back. I have to say, what speakers are you using? What speakers are you using? How big is your room? And how loud do you like to listen? Because I have 3 brand new receivers in-house for review, some of which are about 50, 60 watts per channel, all channels driven, on up to a little over 100. And I gotta say, even on the Arundel towers that we also have, which are power hungry, by the way, these receivers don't have any issues driving these speakers. So I would be very curious, if you're still around, Brett, what it is exactly you are running. Because I'm very, very curious. I can see Improved Garage had the opposite. He had an older Integra, bought the new RZ50, and decided he didn't need his Emotiva anymore. That's kind of incredible. And I have to say, I kind of agree with Improved Garage on this one. I have found that the newer AVRs are maybe not pound for pound as powerful as receivers may have seemed to be back in the, call it 90s, all the way up to maybe the early 2000s. But I definitely see a shift where I think some manufacturers are going back to this Class AB or just a more mature or confident power supply, or not power supply, but amplifier section in these receivers, because so many of you are very demanding of what you want a receiver to do, and for good reason. A lot of these receivers aren't cheap. So if you're going to invest the money, why not get the performance? And that's why I feel that receivers have come a long way, and especially in the last 2 to maybe 5 years. I mean, they can replace separates. I truly, truly believe that. Let's see here. Nick over at Movie AV Impulse, I don't think that you're on the stream right now, but just thank you very much. You've been a champion. Love the channel, buddy. Leaving you this little message for when you watch the playback, but thank you very much. Let's see here. Yeah. Ryan had the same question for Brett. Okay, let's see. Let me get caught up now. Denon 2800H or 3800H for the Arundel 1961 2-point setup. Honestly, I think you could be fine with either. We have the 3800H in-house, but I don't want to spoil that review. Needless to say, we also have another Marantz receiver in-house currently hooked up to the Arundel speakers, and it is fabulous. So stay tuned for that review. It is right around the corner. Let's see. JW Grigg. Good morning. Have you had any experience with Definitive Technology speakers, specifically the 1920s? Or 9020s, sorry, 9020s. I do have quite a bit of experience with Definitive Technology speakers. However, I don't know if I've had those particular ones. The Super Towers back in the day, I had a full home theater of bipolar Super Towers, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. I have not reviewed DefTech in a while, partially because a lot of their speakers aren't really new. I know that they've gotten facelifts cosmetically, but the internals are still kind of the same as they have been for quite some time. So that's why I haven't really actively sought that brand out, although I do think that they're absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Well, greetings from the desert. Yes, it is a decent hour for Europeans, hopefully. So if you've missed our live streams on Thursdays, hopefully you can catch this one. Let's see. TechMed, no comment, just a super chat. I appreciate that, man. I really, really do. Okay, let's see. Oh, she chimed in. They do mean the world. Okay. You love the JBL 5.1 bar. Isn't it great? It's so good. It's so good. We still have it. We love it. And I can't recommend that bar enough for people that are on a budget but want maximum impact from a very easy to set up, very easy to live with system. It's really, really great. Let's see. Basement 45. To settle my mind, I want an over-the-top amplifier to power my Wharfdale Lintons. What is an over-the-top amplifier? I don't know, like just crazy wattage. If that's the case, if you just want sheer wattage, I would look into like an Emotiva XPA2 Gen 3, you know, something that's going to give you like 300 watts per channel into 8 ohms. I believe it's 600 watts into 4. I mean, that thing will drive anything. But with Wharfdale Lintons, you could easily get away with something as, I don't want to say basic, but you could get away with a BassX A2 or their monos. Those would also have the requisite power to drive those speakers to their fullest and sound pretty good doing it. Coffee in hand, let's go. Yes, I already had my coffee, and if I have too much, then this is going to get real real crazy. Let's see. Okay. Thank you for all you do. I have enjoyed the content you create. I have a question. With Black Friday approaching, when might we see 2022 best product content? Our Product of the Year award show typically airs mid-December. I know some people and publications are already putting out their best of award type articles already, and I kind of go, we got like 3 months left in the year, and I don't know about what their schedules look like, but in terms of our production schedule, holy cow, there's so many good things still to come. So I can't possibly put the best stuff out there right now, and I understand that Black Friday is coming up, and that's a big one. So hopefully along the way, if you keep it tuned to our community page, Kristi kind of alerts you guys to deals that she sees or things that maybe we don't want to ruin the review, but we'll give you a heads up on, like, hey, you might want to check this out. She usually does that in the community page. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. So let's see. Thank you. Thank you, Vadim. Appreciate everything that you do. Really means a lot. Thank you. Let's see. Here's a good one. What record cleaning machine do you have and use? Right here. These. I use my hands. Not like my bare hands, but I use, you know, cloth, distilled water. I don't get really crazy with my record collection. I might be one of the few people that believes that records get better with age. And while they are kind of archival in their format and that they'll last forever, especially if you take care of them, I like that over time, the history is there on the record, you know? And so I do minimal cleaning. So let's see. Will you be doing a review of the Sonos Mini Sub? Probably not. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's a B&W question. Thank you guys for tuning into the B&W 705S3 review that we did about a week ago. You guys made that a very, very popular video right out of the gate. Turns out that you were very curious about those speakers. And if you haven't watched that video after the live stream, go check that out because I think you're going to enjoy it. But this question is, I am having a Marantz NR1605 pair with B&W 705S2 and a 5.1 setup. I would like to change my receiver now due to some HDMI board issues. Any advice? Tune in 1 week. 1 week from today. Tune in 1 week from today. I think I'll have your answer. Oh, Michael, thank you so much. Oh no, it jumped around on me. I got a new Audiophile 2M Blue Max Power 78. I got a new Audiophile 2M Blue cartridge and no left channel. Hooked up old one again, no problem. Weekend troubleshooting ensues after this. Yeah, it sounds like it. I haven't had that issue with the 2M Blue. I had that issue with a it was a DJ style cartridge way back in the day. I mean, it's been a minute. But yeah, that can be really frustrating. So I don't envy, I don't envy you. Let's see. Do you think the new Ambio Plus will be anywhere near as good as the old Ambio Max? Or do you think the price cut and size reduction will compromise it? I don't know. And frankly, Sennheiser, under their new ownership with their new teams, they're not the most forthcoming with information. We used to have a really great rapport with their team and we're able to get answers very quickly. And now that's just not the case. So Kristi and I are kind of thinking that we're going to end up buying like all of these in the coming weeks just to try and give you guys some answers, because honestly, they're not answering our questions. I can only imagine how you guys must be feeling. So we're going to get to the bottom of it. Vivian, just bought the Audiolab 6000A Play because of your review. Love it. Isn't it great? It's still one of my favorite pieces a year later. In fact, I just had it out the other day and I was running it as a preamp because I just got a vintage power amp in-house. Sadly, it's not ready to show you guys for prime time and it's going to have to go back to the shop for some restoration. But I was using the Audiolab as a strict preamp just to test this new amplifier that I've been like dying to get my hands on. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I don't know if it's gonna, if that amplifier review is gonna be out before the end of the year, given that it needs to go back to the shop. But I think it's gonna be a fun one when it's ready. Let's see here. If you haven't already, don't forget to do that. And just throw that up there. Okay. Oh boy, I need to catch up here. You guys doing awesome. I just lost my spot. Okay, let's catch back up here. All right. Do you guys, Bodie McBoatface, that's such a great name. Do you guys plan on reviewing any more Q acoustic speakers? I mean, sure. There is a part of me that is very curious about the smaller concept bookshelf. Now that we've reviewed the Concept 50, I am curious how the smaller bookshelf does, but I don't think that we're gonna rush to try and get that on the schedule before the end of the year. Given how great the Concept 50s performed, I think that it's almost no brainer that the smaller, was it Concept 30, is going to do very well. But I do want to hear it for myself, but I have no timetable for when that might be. Jimmy Hills, thoughts on a Phantom Center for home theater? I love it. I love using a Phantom Center for home theater. I actually think that it sounds a bit more natural, and unless you have a really good center channel, center channels for me become a bit too directional, and I end up I end up kind of turning them down a bit until they're barely noticeable, because I just kind of prefer the Phantom Center feel and vibe. Now, if you have a really good center channel, one that has good dispersion and it doesn't become too directional, and these typically are bigger center channels, then I don't mind. But a lot of more affordable centers, smaller centers that use smaller woofers, they become a bit too directional for me, and I always kind of find that I prefer the Phantom Center sound. Let's see. I was thinking about adding a separate amp for the front 3 channels. I'm running a 5.0.4 KEF Q series and an RZ50. Do I think it's worth it? I mean, KEFs tend to like a little bit of power. I will say this: if you're gonna do it, don't go overboard. You know what I mean? Don't spend a lot of money. I think you could get away with maybe an Emotiva Bass X, what is it, the A3, for roughly, is it $399 or $449? I don't know. I'm sure when this live stream's over, if you come back later in the day or in the next 24 to 48 hours, Kristi will have some links for you. But if you're going to do that, I think you will hear a market improvement or a slight improvement, but I would caution you, don't spend a ton of money. You will get an improvement, but the improvement will be slight. Let's see here. Oh, I know it's difficult, but could we see more European products reviewed? Your Transpulse 1500 was spot on, and they are my favorite speakers. Aren't they great? I am actually, look, I'm gonna pause with the questions for just a second here. I am actually kind of upset with the powers that be surrounding Magnet's introduction into the US, because I think that brand is great. Admittedly, I've only had 2 experiences, the Transpulse and their Cinema line, but both have exceeded my expectations. And those videos, those products in the US proved to be so popular that you guys sold them out. And I have been trying very hard to get them to restock, because I think there's still quite a few of you that would like to get your hands on the 1500s, and they are very non-committal about what it is that they are bringing in, or if they're going to bring in more stock. And that just, oh, it kills me. It kills me, because those 1500s are so much fun. They're so much fun. They're an insane value. And for those of you looking for a theater-centric speaker, I believe last I checked, and admittedly it's been a couple of weeks, but I believe the Cinema line from Magnet is still in stock here in the US. And again, great speaker. But to your question, will we see more European products reviewed? Yes. Eric, new member, mid-5. Thank you, Eric. Also planning to get a 48-inch Samsung Neo QLED or 50-inch LG OLED C2. Which one would you recommend? Wow. Well, if you need brightness, no one seems to make a brighter TV than Samsung at the moment when it comes to their LEDs. But that C2 OLED is something else. But we have another OLED coming. The review is going to be a few weeks off still, but we are getting our hands on another OLED. So I am very curious how it's going to stack up against the C2. But right now, the LG C2 is top marks for me in the OLED department. We still have ours. We still love it. Still haven't made up our mind, but it's a damn good TV. Let's see here. Loved the Q990B review, reading a lot about sub or rear disconnection issues. Did you experience anything like that? No. In fact, I learned of the issues in our own comments, because while we were testing the 990B, I had no problems. The only problem that I had was my old as dirt iPhone didn't like the SmartThings app. But as soon as I switched to Kristi's newer iPhone, everything worked flawlessly. So I was stunned when a lot of people started commenting that, hey, you know, did your rears crap out? Did the sub not work? I'm like, this thing's been as reliable as a wood burning stove. So I have no idea, you know, what that's all about. I really don't. Let's see. Yes, we all do. And promise, she will return. So, all right, let me get caught up here. Let's see. Thrillcat, love the positivity of your videos. Never understood the negativity superiority of some. I don't either, man. I don't get it either, but I really appreciate you noticing that we try and keep it fun and light. Let's see here. Oh man, guys, it just jumps around on me just about the time I'm ready to click so that you can see the question I'm about to answer. It goes, bah, it goes away. Let's see, what if I do this? Nope, that doesn't work. Hold on, guys, hold on. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to think that we've gotten a little bit better with our live streaming. Here we go. I finally have caught up here, I think. Here we go. Improved Garage Super Chat. Thank you so much. Sorry, it took me a minute to find you again. Any interest in shit audio? I know you aren't into DACs or headphones, but the Vidar, hope I'm saying that right, is an excellent Class AB amplifier for $600. I would love to hear your thoughts. I like it better than my C388. Not surprised that you may like it better than your C338. I would welcome a shit audio review anytime. And Lord knows Kristi has tried. She has reached out to them not constantly. I don't want to say that we're like pestering them or anything, but she has reached out fairly regularly over the course of, gosh, the last 2 years, 2+ years. And we have been given every excuse under the sun as to why, for some reason, there's never any product for us to review. However, we constantly see them appear on other channels. So it's kind of a head scratcher. I would love to review it. I would love to review it historically, and I'm talking even before this channel. I know that company. We go way back. I've been to their old headquarters back when it was in Valencia, California. I know the owner, the guy that founded it. So I have no explanation for any of you as to why those products or that brand is proving to be so elusive to us. But I would welcome it. I would welcome it. And historically, like I said, I think they make great stuff. Okay. Zachariah, low-end stereo, $300 range, Yamaha versus Emotiva. Oh, I'd go Emotiva. Go Emotiva. I do not, this is just me talking, I don't like Yamaha's lower-priced integrateds. I don't know why. I just don't like them. They don't do anything for me. They just don't sound the way I feel some of Yamaha's higher-end stuff sounds. And the AS, what is it, 1200? Is kind of where Yamaha starts for me in integrated amps. And I know that amp is more expensive. Sorry, I'm trying to catch my breath. I know that amp is more expensive, but for me, if I'm shopping Yamaha integrateds, that's where I'm starting, because I really don't, I just don't like the sound of the stuff below it. Feel free to feel differently. We all have our tastes, but that's how I feel. I would choose Emotiva over Yamaha. Joe, thank you so much. No question. Just appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Pancakes or waffles? Waffles all the way. Kristi whispered, pancakes. Peter, when I use a Denafrips Aries 2 through my Technics SUG 700, it sounds identical to the internal DAC. Is that a function of the Technics sound path or the quality of the built-in DAC? You need to watch my Technics SUG 700 Mark II review. As soon as this live stream's over, go watch that review. We explain why. If you are in love with the sound of your SUG 700, you don't need a DAC. Sorry. Okay. Sean, Hi-Fi member. Any recommendations for a 5.1 home theater in a box system? I'm running the Paradigm Cinema 100 rig here. Love it. Well, if you have something that you love, why do we need another one? Would be my question. I think for me, home theater in a box systems have been replaced with sound bars. You know what I mean? So I don't really have any at the moment. The ABX Audiophile, glad to see you back. Thank you. We appreciate the love and support. Any plans on reviewing the new line of Emotiva processors? Yes. That's all I'm going to say. Yes. Let's see. Do you prefer, Sean, do you prefer using Dirac via mobile app device or using the PC version? I really like being able to use it on a mobile device. I have used it both ways. I just find the convenience of the phone or tablet to be better. It's just a little easier to sit on the couch or stand behind the couch or whatever when you're doing measurements with the phone. But I know, let me think, because it's been a minute since I've used the laptop. I think the last product that demanded a laptop was the M33. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the phone. I'm going to go with the phone. What steps do you take or do you make to eliminate digital harshness? No idea. I probably don't pump my music through DACs that are upsampling things to the bejesus that would introduce something like that. So maybe that would help. I don't know. I just sit back and I listen, and if something's good and it speaks to me, I say it, and if it doesn't, I let you guys know. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, guys. Which speaker pulled your heartstrings more, Transpulse 1500 or Polk R700? Well, I gotta say, the Polk R700 is kind of the Transpulse of this year. You know what I mean? Like, it came out and surprised us. That speaker is ridiculously good for, ridiculously good, period. I was about to say ridiculously good for the money. But it's just really, really good, period. And the Transpulse was really, really good, period. Granted, you could do better. And so the Transpulse probably fell more into a category of really, really good for the money. Whereas the Polk is like, I could seriously build a cost no object system around it. I think the Transpulse was a bit, for me, I'm speaking purely for me, and if Kristi has jumped ahead and answered this, I apologize. I think the Transpulse was more shocking because that speaker system came in at just under $900, I believe. And so when you're seeing such a big speaker for $900, you're kind of like, what? So maybe the Transpulse was just a little bit more surprising, and that in turn tugged a little bit more. But I'm not going to lie, I believe the R700 is the more complete speaker. All right, let me see if I saw a couple super chats. So hold on, guys. I gotta skip ahead and do my due diligence here. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. No question. So thank you. JC, you just became a member. Thank you. We appreciate that. Let's see here. Okay. I just saw another one that I wanted to get to. Oh, I love your name, man. Obi-Wan Cannoli. Belgian waffles all day. Waffles for the win. Waffles for the win. Let's see here. Laurel Hardy has a theory as to why Shit Audio does not send us products for review. I don't know, man. I've heard this comment from people, and not about Shit Audio, just about brands in general. And I mean, if that's the case, what do you say to that? What do you say to that? Because that just creates a whole. I mean, that is like opening a box filled with bees, all with lasers. It's like how are you supposed to respond to something like that? I hope that's not true. I really hope it's not true. Biosound Theater anytime. My door's open. They know we want it. That is one that unfortunately I don't have the funds set aside to go buy, so I will be relying on a press sample, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Oh, Luke. Back when you reviewed the Klipsch Cinema 600 soundbar, did you ever experience issues with it turning off during use? No. In fact, I had so few issues with that bar that I bought both of my brother's Cinema 600s for Christmas that year, and they have said that they've performed flawlessly. So I don't know what that's about. It might have something to do, not with the bar. If you have it connected with an HDMI cable that uses CEC, maybe it's a CEC malfunction or a CEC setting with your television. You might want to look into that, because I have never had the cinema when we reviewed it. And to the best of my knowledge, my brothers have never communicated this to me, but the Cinema 600 has never shut off for them either. Let's see. Zachariah, someone get Andrew a new phone. I'm gonna get a new one. I'm working on it. But you know what? To be honest, though, the thing I love about my iPhone 8, and this is gonna sound really silly because I know they just released a new phone with like a 60 megapixel sensor. I love the way the iPhone 8 takes pictures. And I believe that the iPhone 8 takes better pictures in terms of color fidelity, contrast ratio, and things like that than Kristi's newer iPhone, which is admittedly not the newest, and I have not seen it, but I do. I think the iPhone 8 takes better pictures, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to get rid of it. Let's see here. Your dad, yes, she is. She is the glue. Thank you for noticing. I really appreciate that. Let's see. All right, let me jump ahead. I saw some stuff come in here. Man, I feel like I'm drowning here. Like I'm not doing as good of a job. I don't know. Maybe let me know. Let's see. Lee, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. We really appreciate it. Michael, my Marantz 8015 turns off about 3 minutes after I turn it off. Goes to my Sony STRZA. I think you meant to say it turns off about 3 minutes after you turn it on? Maybe? Because, yeah, I haven't had that issue either. I'm wondering if these aren't HDMI settings that y'all have going on. You might want to look into that. Look into your displays or your source components, their HDMI settings, to see if maybe that's not causing some of these phantom shutoff issues. Another thing that you may want to look into is the power saving settings. I have found that when power saving or eco modes are turned on with receivers, they can get a bit wonky with respect to their power on, power off, auto type functionality. So maybe look into that. Let's see. Sadly, no. There's probably a very slim to no chance we'll be reviewing portable audio devices, partially because I don't use them. I don't use them. I'm the last person to give advice on things like headphone amps or DACs or stuff like that because I'm not a headphone user. Todd, appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Let's see. Todd didn't have a question, just a nice super chat. We really appreciate the support. Oh, no, it jumped ahead on me again. Here we go. Sam Clark. When is it time to upgrade your equipment? I have a Krell FPB200, a Krell CRC3 preamp, B&W Nautilus 804s, and a Rel sub. Well, if you don't want that system, I'll take it. I mean, look, when is it time for me? If I wasn't a reviewer, what has always guided me is it's time to upgrade when there is a feature that a feature or a function that I want to enjoy that I can no longer do without or ignore. For example, 4K, HDMI, higher frame rates, etc. Those are things that if I was still in like pure HD 1080p land and was holding out, because at the time, when 4K was new, I was like, oh, let's give it a generation or two before jumping in, because there's always going to be bugs with being an early adopter. But now that ecosystem is sussed out, it was time to upgrade. And so I did. I paid a lot of money, upgraded my whole system. So that is typically how I feel about things. When it comes to speakers and amplifiers, they very rarely go bad. And so if you have a great speaker from, say, 1995, and it still has a good frequency response between 20 to 20, sounds good to you, you're familiar with it, you like the sound, and you're not compelled to just try something new for the sake of trying something new, there's no reason to upgrade or even change. I don't even want to say upgrade, because I feel like in this hobby, so many people think that every time they make a change, it's going to be an upgrade. And more often than not, they do that and then they go, man, it's kind of like the same. That's because so many moves in this hobby are more or less lateral than they are like, whoa. You know what I mean? So if you're going from, say, small bookshelves and a small subwoofer, and you have more room, and maybe you bought a new house, you moved into a new apartment, but you just have more room, and now it's like, okay, let's go towers. That's going to be a bit of a jump. You're going to notice that more. But for those of you that are like, well, I have Q Acoustics two-way bookshelf here, I'm thinking of Kef's two-way bookshelf over here, I'm thinking of a Wharfdale two-way bookshelf over here, it's like, I mean, the improvements are going to just be like, just like this. So really ask yourself, like, what is it you're chasing? Are you chasing a different performance, a better performance, or are you really just fighting boredom? And you're just wanting to make a change for the sake of change because you have FOMO. And, you watch videos like ours, you read magazines, and it's just like, I got to have it. Because I got to tell you, you don't always have to have it. And your system, Sam, it probably sounds amazing based on what I know of those components. I can say that, I mean, you may have an endgame system already. So unless you just want to try something different, I don't know if it's time to upgrade. Let's see. Oh, JC, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Let's see. I just jumped ahead on me, guys. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Oh, those of you who have an Onkyo that's turning on and off, 230K19 says it's because of the screensaver feature on his Roku. So those of you, keep an eye out for that if you're a Roku user. I really like your videos. I have a Bose Acoustimass 10 Series 4. Can you please recommend an AV receiver for 5.1 channel audio? I mean, honestly, the Bose stuff isn't crazy difficult to drive. You could probably get away with just a basic AV receiver. Say the Denon X1700H comes to mind at $650. I have a feeling that will do you just fine. Let's see here. Joel says, wow, that's surprising to hear, but I'll just enjoy living vicariously from your hi-fi home theater reviews. You know, if you guys are on the market for something, I hope that you find our reviews informative and give you something to think about if you know you're going shopping. But for the most part, I just hope that, you know, we all just kind of enjoy this hobby together. And yeah, you do live vicariously, you know, through the reviews. You're entertained by them, just as we kind of live vicariously through all of your, you know, feedback and the things that you say that you've tried that we can't possibly try, you know, every permutation. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. Let's see. Oh. Thanks, John Coltrane. Appreciate that. Well, I have to say, since I haven't heard a full ARC setup, I'm going to have to go with the Sony HT-A9. That's just me. With the sub. Oh, yes. Do not buy the Sony HT-A9 without the subwoofer, and it's the SW5 subwoofer that you want. And I realize that's going to raise the cost, but I cannot recommend the HT-A9 system without a sub. Don't think for 1 second those speakers have any bass, because they don't. Let's see. I saw something come through here, guys. Hold on, I got to jump ahead. Where'd it go? Thank you for the super chat. I finally purchased my dream amp, NAD M10. Good one. Currently running B&W 607 bookshelves. They sound amazing without Dirac. Well, Dirac make a huge difference. If I'm remembering correctly, and again, I have not demoed the M10 nor the M10 V2, but I believe, Kristi's got some thoughts off camera. I believe that NAD comes with Dirac Live, in which case it's only going to affect bass frequencies below, what is it, 500 hertz or 300 hertz? So the 607s do like to load bass. They do have a bit of some punchy bottom end. So it could smoothen that out. It could take some of the bloat out of the bottom end. There's no harm in trying. You can always try it, see if you like it. If not, clear the Dirac filter, and then you're back to the way things were. Let's see. Okay. I am Natus. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Sorry if I butchered your screen name or your name. Found my Yamo C97-2s too bright with the new CXA81. Tried KEF R3 and they were just as bright. Realized more fan of towers. Any recommendation around 2K that's not as bright but center as easily as Yamo? Oh, okay. So you're asking for speaker recommendations that are not as bright. Yeah, Polk Audio. Polk Audio, all the way. Anything from their reserve line, which I believe are all currently on sale, if I'm not mistaken. So now might be the time to give that a shot. Let's see. Is there any way to troubleshoot HDMI CEC issues other than trial and error? Here's what I do. I disconnect everything and go one component at a time. It's painstaking. It sucks. I literally just had to do it because unbeknownst to me, our Apple TV 4K got an update. I knew one was coming. I just didn't realize that it happened in the middle of the night. And I woke up the next morning, usual routine, hit all of the right buttons, and our receiver didn't work. And so for a minute there, I panicked. I thought, oh no, the receiver we have is malfunctioning, and I'm just about to publish a review of it. This is a real problem. It was not the receiver's fault. Receiver was working flawlessly. It was the update on the Apple TV 4K, but it took me a good hour and a half to find it. It's a pain. Oh man, CEC, HDMI. Let's see. Didn't I answer this question already? I'm not going to say your screen name. Can you recommend a good quality, purely analog amp to drive the Wharfdale Lintons? I believe I answered this earlier in the stream, but I don't believe it was you because I would have remembered the screen name. Check out Emotiva XPA Gen 3 line or even their Base X. You'll get some Class A/B stuff in there. Let's see. Yes, I agree with Craig here. Rebel M16s are also not gonna sound bright. Yes. Retro Hi-Fi, enjoy the points in your videos showing the music you listen to. Would you consider creating a video on the songs you listen to and what you look for in a revealing system? We've actually made one of those videos already. It's, I forget the title of it. It is a little bit older. We are due to kind of update that video because we've added some songs to our demo list. But if you go into our education playlist, when the live stream is over, if you go into the education playlist, you will find our demo songs video. And I think I lay out 10 songs that we use every time and what to listen for. Do you recommend the Arundel 1723 THX against the R700? I can't one way or the other because I haven't heard those particular speakers. So sorry. Let's see. Barry, Sugden Class A amplifiers. I have not tested those. So I don't have an opinion, but I am well aware of them and I am curious about their performance. Oh, it looks like maybe we're getting the sun's coming out for us here. Let's see. I just saw another one. Oh no. Oh, there it is. There it is. So let me do this. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Nebulous. Which speakers or amps deserve a revisited review? We did that video when we moved to our new space. We revisited I think maybe five or six speakers, and even bought a speaker again just to double check and retest it. So you might want to check that out. I believe it's in our education playlist, and I think it's a good one. Up. Let's see. Okay, Shane. Just got some Forte 4s and was super surprised how great they don't sound out off the bat. My room is wider than it is deep. Any placement ideas? How long to break them in? I have a Yamaha 801. Okay, we're going to try and unpack this. For starters, I don't necessarily believe in break-in. I think once you play a speaker for 15 to 30 minutes, at a reasonable volume, kind of, talking volume, if you will, or you can go louder if you want. All of the drivers have loosened up. They've stopped being stiff. They're performing at their optimal whatever. The notion that you have to put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on something, no. So that's number one. Number two, you're not really specific as to what you don't like about the sound. If you're finding that they're really, really bass heavy, know that speaker needs to be pulled away from the wall to really have the bass and mid-range and treble sort of all sit in alignment. So if you're thinking that it sounds a bit tubby or fat or slow or just messy, get them out from the wall. Get them out from the wall as much as you can. And what I would do, pull them out until you don't hear any bass and then start to push them back. If you're not getting as great a center image, or they sound more like a wall of sound, they're not starting to kind of have pinpoint detail, toe them in, angle them in towards your listening position. That's one thing to do. And third, I don't like the Yamaha 801 on just about anything, and I really don't like it on the Forte 4. That's just me. I'm not saying you have a bad amplifier, but I am saying that if it were me, that is not the pairing that I would use. Okay, I saw something come in here, guys. I think I need to jump ahead real quick. I'll go backwards. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. I'm going to try and answer this question the best I can. Hey, I am reading lots of wireless connectivity issues on both Sony HT-A9 and the Samsung Q990B. My house filled with lots of devices. Have you faced any? We did not face dropouts with either system. However, if you do not maintain a clean Wi-Fi network, that is to say that you have a bunch of stuff that just gets connected, you have an open network, you don't organize it, things like that, or you are in an area where there are a lot of networks kind of competing. Let's say you're in an apartment complex. Yes, you have your own router. Yes, you have your own network, but there's a lot of that, just that information swirling around. You may have connection issues. That's all I can say to that. We didn't have any during our review period, but that is because I am very vigilant about what gets connected to our network. I even went so far as I've created kind of multiple sub networks, and only devices for entertainment or review purposes are put on one type of network, whereas other stuff gets handled by something else. And so that keeps our network very, very clean. And because of that, we never experienced dropouts. But I can't say that there are none, or there isn't the possibility for dropouts if you have a messy network. Okay. Etienne, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Want in ceiling for all but LCR with space for 4. Would you opt for 7.1 or 5.1.2? Also, I am rocking a Yamaha A4A. Any plans to revisit the Avantage line following recent updates? Love from Malta. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I totally recommend in-ceiling speakers. We have 6 in our room that enable us to do anything from 5.1.4 to 7.1.2. So I love the flexibility of that. I would totally do a 5.1.2 setup. I love the overhead height channels for Atmos. They're great. Admittedly, they get used a little bit more in just the .2 configuration versus .4. But I can't recommend in-ceilings enough. And we use a Klipsch in-ceiling that I'm sure Kristi will link to if either here shortly or if you come back and revisit this video. But they're not expensive. I think they're $80 or $90 each. They're low profile, so they fit in, you know, our very shallow ceiling cavities, and they're one of the best upgrades that we have ever made to our home theater system. So can't recommend them enough. Oh no, got a bunch of super chats that just came in. Okay, thank you very much. Have you ever tried or plan on trying to use the isoacoustic isolation products like the Gaia series? I have heard they make a massive difference. If you watch any of our speaker reviews or you catch some B-roll of our subwoofer, you know that I use isoacoustic feet. I use them not because they make a massive difference. I'm not saying they make no difference. I'm just saying that with or without them, it's not a great difference in our particular space, and it's not one that I can even measure and show you as being a great difference. That said, I absolutely love their feet because we have concrete floors, and they are the best feet for polished concrete floors because they leave no marks, they don't scratch, and they are incredibly, incredibly sturdy. So any chance that I can, I replace the stock feet on any speaker that we're reviewing with those because it just protects our floor, and I consider it an investment in the longevity of our home. Let's see. Mike Shaw. I have the Samsung 950A and love it. Symphony is a bit gimmicky, but works fine. Thanks for the review of the 990B last week. Appreciate that you are open-minded to soundbars. I love soundbars, man. I really, really do. I think if a lot of people could park their biases about soundbars dating back 10 and 15 years and really revisit them now with a fresh perspective, I think they would be blown away. I'm so glad that you're liking your 950A. We still love ours. Super chat, I appreciate that. I don't see a question, but thank you very, very much. Is this live stream going to be available on demands afterward? Of course it is. We don't delete anything around here. Of course it is. If you can't stay for the whole thing, come back, join us, and watch at your leisure. It will be here for you, promise. Let's see. I saw a question here. Mike, we only see your finished review. Will you ever show us your actual setup and rough and ready evaluation process real time? I'm thinking about it. All of the rough and ready real-time evaluations happen in the room that you see. Granted, when we are doing A and Bs and shooting stuff out here and there, it's not that clean. Sometimes you'll have an amp on the floor, receiver on the floor, two speakers next to each other, cables just willy-nilly because I just need to get to them quickly. I might let you in on that. It's an arduous process, and then when you throw in, taking in-room frequency response measurements now too, it gets to be a lot of just stuff. But I understand that it does help you guys to understand not only our process, but probably humanizes this process and maybe us a little bit. So it's something I am thinking about. Let's see. I think JC Andrew, my 4 Atmos has metal dome tweeters, but all my main speakers are soft dome. Do you think this will matter? Does Dirac compensate for the metal tweeter? I don't think it's going to matter. Dirac will not compensate for the metal tweeter. If your AV receiver or processor has EQ, individual channel EQ, you can always go to the Atmos channels and maybe take the high frequencies down like 1 dB, 1 or 2 dB, if that's even going to be audible. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it, though. I don't think it's going to matter that much. Let's see. What do you use to calibrate your TVs? If you watch our TV reviews and you go down in the description, Kristi always has those links for you. Oh, and I just heard her off camera say that she shot you that link. Let's see. Lucas, hi. I like my B&W 600 5.0 system. Deal with it. Dealt. I need a new AVR. Denon or Marantz, thank you for your great work. Up until recently, I would have said that the two were pretty much interchangeable. However, it would appear that their new line that has come out somewhat this year has just been announced and is going to take them into 2023. There is a separation. For B&W, I'm going to say Marantz. Let's see here. Jeffrey, I am considering getting a Yamaha S801 to replace an old Sansui 4700. What's your opinion? I don't have a lot of experience with Sansui, so I don't know if that would be an upgrade. I can say, excuse me, swallowed too much air. I can say that I don't like the Yamaha 801. And so I would not steer you in that direction compared to a lot of amps. But I don't know where to steer you based on your experience with the 4700. As I understand it, and my limited experience with Samsui over the years, they make great products. Not to say that the 801 isn't capable. It's just not. It's just not an amp that I like. So I want to give you something more than that, but I just can't. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Matt, do you still recommend the Fluance RT85 as a one-stop turntable? Not looking to go down the vinyl rabbit hole, but I enjoy physical media. I'd be running it into an Onkyo 6100 and Polk SE55. You know, I do still recommend the RT85, but for you, it might actually be too much turntable. You know, it's great. It is awesome. And if you get the RT85 with the Audiophile 2M Blue, arguably you've got an end game turntable. So if you want to be one stop and done, it is very difficult to beat. I am also very much a proponent of the ease of use of U-turns orbit turntables. You are going to save a little bit of money there, or our project debut carbon something. Their names are terrible. I'm sorry. I've been really impressed with that turntable. I love the finish options that Project offers on that. So if you are looking for maybe a slightly more stylish turntable, since it's not going to be your primary, like I'm a diehard vinyl enthusiast, look into any one of those three. Let's see here. Improved Garage. Thank you again. Andrew just ordered the RT85, which comes with the 2M Blue. I know you use the black. Can you comment on the difference? Any issues with older vinyl? The difference between the 2M Blue and 2M Black is, in my opinion, pretty dramatic. I find that detail, separation, dynamics, and bass solidify tremendously with the 2M Black. To me, the 2M Black cartridge is my desert island cartridge. Like, I don't want to change cartridges. We, when we get sent turntables, admittedly, we don't review them as much anymore. But when we get sent turntables, people send a cartridge or two to replace. And they're like, oh, if you like the 2M Black, you'll love this. And so far, every time that I have changed, like I've changed to a Grado cartridge, I always want to go back to the 2M Black. I do. So for me, yes, the 2M Black is an investment, and it is a costly one. It is an investment, but it has never left my table since it got hooked up. It's just never left. And I don't want to listen to anything else because I just really like the way it sounds. Let's see. Oh, okay, hold on. Matthew, I am upgrading my turntable from a beginner one to a more serious one. Already upgraded the cartridge and feet and don't like the no VTA and plastic tone arm. Well, what turntable do you have? That would be my question. I don't know how best to help you because I don't really know what you have. So hopefully maybe you follow up with that, but yeah. You upgraded the feet, huh? Huh. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. There's some super chats here, guys, I need to get to real fast. Let's see. Oh, Matthew, real quick. You have an MMF 1.3. Oh man, I am not familiar with that that turntable. I apologize. So I'm sorry, I can't help you there. Oh, Darshak? I hope, sorry if I'm butchering your name. Thank you for the super chat. My question went unnoticed. Thank you for reviewing such a wide range of AV gears. Love them all. Question, do you prefer DTS or Dolby? Sorry if we missed your question. That was not intentional. I prefer Dolby. And I prefer Dolby just because pretty much everything is mixed in Dolby. Not everything has a DTS soundtrack. Ken E. Super Chat, thank you. Can't post my message. See in chat if this works. Oh no. Oh no. Ken E. We're not seeing it either. What is going on? Yeah, you were able to leave a super chat. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Post again. I'm going to keep an eye out for it now. Post again. All right. Let's see here. Mr. J. Kristi's letting me know that I've missed one. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Man, it's red. Red super chat about the power node, guys. Bear with me, bear with me. Where'd it go? There it is. Great discussions regarding audio. First of all, thank you so much, Mr. J. Great discussions regarding audio components. Fell in love with the power node. Keep looking at other products, though, wondering if I'm missing out. Possibly living in this state forever, even though I enjoy my system every day. You know, honestly, that power node is ridiculously good. And in a lot of ways, it does absolutely everything that I would want a modern component to do. And so I don't blame you. I don't blame you. In my opinion, you kind of have to go way upstream for there to be like differences where you're like, okay, yeah, okay, I get it. Like the power node is great and I love it, but I do like this little bit of flavor that this other component has. But I'm talking like you got to go more than double. Really, truly, you have to go more than double. And even then, even spending more, like for example, like I really like the Technics SUG 700 Mark II, and I do consider it an upgrade to the power node. That said, at more than twice, maybe even 3 times the price, it still doesn't do things that the power node will do. So it's like, wow. That's a knock against Technics, not the power node. Thank you, Mr. J, for your support. Let's see. Oh, got a couple more here. Milko. Hello, Andrew. Greetings from Bolivia. I saw your video about Emotiva amps and bought an Emotiva BassX A3. It is a great amp. Thank you for your great work. I'm so glad that you're happy with it. That BassX, that new BassX line is just killer. It's so good. The problem that the BassX has is, or I should say the problem it creates for Emotiva is it's as good as the XPA line in many, many respects, or for most people. And so now the XPA line needs to get updated and it needs to get even better. Thank you, Sonder. Hey, Andrew, love the channel expertise. Oh, just got my first theater system on Thursday. Yamo Concert 9 Series C9 2 full system with monitor audio bronze. For a very small room, is it okay if the rear speakers are above ear level? Yeah, they should. They should be, actually. I would encourage you to go to Dolby.com or DolbyLaboratories.com, and they have a whole section in there about how to set up, where to place speakers for surround sound in all types of environments and in so many situations. Definitely go to their website, go to the Dolby website, look at those papers, and you're going to find everything you need to know about where to put your speakers in a myriad of rooms. So check it out. Thank you for your support. Let's see. Bodie McBoatface. Bodie, you left a super chat as well. Well, what the heck? Let's see. I'm going to go search for it, Bodhi. I'm on it. I'm on it. I wish I could do a search. You know? It's top. Hold on, let me. Yeah. I didn't realize that I had not put that on live, guys. Or yeah. And I went back and I can't see it, but I think it must be. Bodhi, tell you what, buddy. Leave your question again. You don't have to super chat or anything like that. Please just leave your question again. I'm going to keep an eye out for it. Jan, what are your thoughts about HDMI 2.1 splitters at the moment? Would love to buy the A95K, but it only has one HDMI port I can use. You lose one for EARC, and I need 3. Perfectly honest, I find that a lot of them have been a pretty hit or miss. I haven't found one that I absolutely love yet, and so I guess I would have to say how I feel about splitters is I'm on the fence. Let's see. Let's see. I saw a question here I wanted to answer when I was looking for Bodhi's question. Oh no. No. Where'd it go? Well, hold on. Let me clear that question. If you guys haven't done this, do me a favor, we're getting close to that 300 mark. So while I am looking for this question that I wanted to answer, if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button for me. Bodhi's back. Here we go. Here we go, Bodhi. I got you. I got you. How many hi-fi components do you own, and how do you choose to listen to them? Do you guys go by feel or use a timetable? Great question. I have no idea how many components I own, like own at this point. It's a few. How do we choose what to do? A lot of it is based on the schedule. We do try and plan the schedule out so that if you really watch our reviews in sequential order, you see a storyline, a through line. We will take you from something that is more expensive, follow it with something, you know, that's comparable but maybe less, and you kind of see gear that's used across, you know, between all of these reviews and whatnot. So there is actually quite a bit of thought and pre-planning that goes into every single thing that you see. Nothing you see on our channel is by accident. And so that really dictates how we do things. But then there are some times where, for example, we just took delivery of an integrated amp that will be coming to the channel very soon. We've teased it a little bit. You've seen it in a couple videos already. We just really like the sound of it. And so we'll just grab it because we know it's good. We know it's good. It wasn't initially on our radar, but we use it now regularly because we just really like the sound of it. So thank you for reposting your question. Glad we were able to get to it. Okay, I'm gonna take a drink. Hope you guys don't mind. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Yes. Well, first I see that Julio left a super chat. Thank you very much. Is there any chance you guys can share your in-ceiling speaker layout? The layout follows pretty much the Dolby Atmos recommended layout according to Dolby. So we have 2 overhead fronts, which are kind of they're in line with our left and right main speakers, but slightly forward. Then we have two Atmos speakers in the ceiling that are directly over our listening position. So those would be the Atmos rears. And then we have 2 more in the back. And what this enables us to do is, with very little adjustment, I can do a 5.1.2 or 5.1.4 setup and use the furthest most, I'm looking off camera because I'm actually looking at them. I can use the furthest most in ceilings as the surround channels, and then use the ones over the primary listening or couch and forward for the 4 Atmos channels. Or I can do a 7.1.2 setup, in which case the speakers over the couch become the surrounds, and then the ones in the back become the back channels, and then we have the 2 front. But there are 6, and they follow, again, go to dolby.com, look at their Atmos speaker layout. They follow that pretty much to the letter. All right, let's see here. Thank you for the thank you for the super chat again. Let's get to first of all, Kristi is in my ear saying Sonder left a super chat. We have already answered Sonder, but thank you again. Thank you again. Let's see here. Let's see. I just saw another one come in. Leroy Jenkins, super chat, $20. Thank you so very much. Oh, dude. Current setup, Technics SU-R1000. SL1210G with Cadenza Black SLG 700 and DefTech BP 9060s. Cross-shopping Technics SB G90 Mark IIs against Cornwall 4s. Please advise on that across the price range. Not a low-end bass head. Well, we have the G90 Mark IIs. We do. They're here. Boy, those 2 speakers are not really comparable. I don't want to spoil our G90 Mark II review, which is coming out in a minute, but the G90 Mark IIs are an entirely different speaker than the original G90s. They may look the same, they may even cost relatively the same, but that speaker has been re-engineered. So if you are at all familiar with the original G90s, know that the Mark II sounds markedly different. And it is way, way more, what's the right word? I don't want to say mature, but controlled. And it takes something like an R1000 for it to really, really reach its potential. I would say that if you are coming from DefTech Super Towers, either speaker is going to be a departure. I mean, the Technics or the Cornwall, either one's going to be a departure. I think you're going to have an easier time living with and enjoying the widest range of source material with the Technics. It is going to be the more accurate speaker, but it is going to be the speaker with less character, if that makes any sense. The Cornwalls are the Cornwalls. They are great. I know some of you guys think that we don't like them. We do, but understand that if you want a speaker that is going to perform in a more neutral fashion, sound pretty much universal with a wide range of source material, Technics anything, or I'm sorry, a Klipsch horn speaker, anything is not necessarily going to be that speaker. They excel at certain things. They are good at others and maybe not so great at some other stuff. They have character. They have a flavor. If you like it, there's nothing better. But if you're looking for something that you don't have to make excuses for or steer away from certain genres of music, the Technics is going to be the better speaker. Let's see. The HF Razor, great content. What about collabs? I would like to see a discussion of personal preference and experience, for example, with Darko. Thank you for the super chat. At this juncture, no collabs are planned. To be honest, it's not because we would say no per se. It's just that honestly, no one has really bothered to ask us. A few people, when we were just starting the channel, reached out to us, and I responded and I said, that sounds great. You know, just let me know what time and place, and then nothing. This one's hard for me. This one's hard for me sometimes because on a lot of levels, I know some of the people that and this isn't specific to Darko, I'm speaking in general terms. I know some of the people that people would maybe like to see a collab with or whatnot. It probably isn't going to happen just because a lot of creators, either publicly or privately, have really gone out of their way to, let's just say, not be very nice to us. And I've never really understood why that was. And some of these people I've had conversations with, and I've asked, I'm like, what did we do? What did we, like, you know? And their explanations were, wow, very eye-opening. So it's unfortunate. There are days where I definitely feel like we kind of exist on an island. It can be a very lonely existence in some ways. I've appeared on Randy Cheap Audio Man's Patreon. He invited me on Patreon, his Sunday thing. We did that. That was a lot of fun. I would like to collab with Caleb, and he and Caleb Dennison over at Digital Trends. He and I have talked about doing something big, and that could still happen. Caleb's a friend. But honestly, some of the people that I would really like to collab with are not in the hi-fi space. They're really not. I watch very little hi-fi YouTube. I actually watch a lot of interior design, architecture type YouTube stuff. So the people that I would love to collaborate with, and there's no way that any of them are watching this, and if they are, hit me up. But like Arvin Alano, Lone Fox, Becky and Chris, Sarah Dici would be cool. Graham Stephan, those type of people. I would, if I had my choice to collaborate with other YouTubers, like that's where I would steer my attention. But yeah, a lot of people have I don't want to say a lot of people. Some people have asked us, but they really want us to collab so that they can get into like drama and stuff. And I'm not here to feed that. So, let's see. Oh man, you guys ask really great questions and then I get to talking. 10 Cent. Are you familiar with the dual CS429 turntable? I need a turntable that will also play 78s, and I like a semi-auto or auto, but also want quality on a sub $1,000 turntable. Man, what dual did we have? I'll put it this way. We had a dual. I don't know if it was that one or not, but we had a dual in here. We lived with it for many, many months. I thought it was fantastic. I have no qualms in recommending dual to anybody. It's the best I got. Yeah, and I would probably look at the dual turntable, the dual automatic, because the other automatic that we had, I didn't like. I believe it was from Andover. I didn't care for that one, and it didn't sound bad. The sound quality was fine. I didn't like the functionality of it. So yeah, maybe the dual. Let's see. Oh, Matthew. I appreciate the general advice. Anyway, it's important to the music community since stores do not like general questions that will not result in a sale. I mean, guys, I just want to thank you again, Matthew, for the super chat. I just want to say this. While we are only two people, we do the best we can. If you have any questions, and if you're getting the runaround and you just want to bounce something off of us, leave a comment in our videos. We may not get to it in the exact moment. So if it's a timely question, maybe the easiest way to kind of elevate it so that we see it or we're alerted to it in a more specific way, if it's timely, is, the super chat, super thanks, those types of things. Those do get highlighted. They're easier for us to find them. If it's timely, like you're literally sitting in the shop and need advice in that moment, I probably, myself or Kristi, probably can't help you with, that fast. We're not on call. But if there's ever anything you guys want to know, as long as you're, respectful about it and plan ahead a little bit, we answer a lot of questions. And so I want this to be a community. I want this to be beneficial for you in any way, in every way possible. So it really means a lot to me that, you like that we just answer your general questions. I like to think that we do a fairly decent job of it. So yeah, just throwing it out there. Oh no. Every time. Yes. Just answered 10. Moto Norway. I have an old phase linear 400. Any thoughts? No, I'm not familiar with that particular product. I'm sorry. Thank you for your support. I wish I could just chat your ear off about it, but I don't know. I'm sorry. Lone Fox's new house is, hey, I'm keeping the faith. He is going in a direction that he has never gone in before. This is a departure for him, and I am tuning in, and I gotta say, there's some things that I can see where he's going, and I'm like, I'm here for it. And then there's other things like, man, I need to see the reveal because I'm not tracking this one. But his content is a lot of fun to watch, so I really appreciate what he's doing. Why do those super decorated spaces have no speakers? Because interior designers hate electronics, and we're trying to change that one little YouTube channel at a time. Oh man. Let's see. Oh, I like this question. Eric, can you please explain what audiophile music is? It seems a bit presumptuous for someone to tell me what music I can and can't listen to. Preach. For me, and I'm not saying this to ruffle feathers, this is just something that has done me some good over the years. I find, quote, audiophile music to be pretty much unlistenable. It is music that exists for the sake of recording quality or showing off your system. And a lot of it tends to be like singular instruments recorded brilliantly. Like we have a 16 microphone array to capture a single acoustic guitar or a drum. Don't get me wrong, it sounds awesome. But it's not necessarily something you're going to bang in your car or put in your headphones and go for a jog. It's not something that anyone is going to necessarily go, I can relate to that. I've heard that. And so I don't use it. I have some, but it's dusty because I don't use it. To me, look, if a system can't play back popular music of any era, it's trash. It's trash. You should not have to adapt your music listening tastes to your system. It's the other way around. The system serves the music. The second it stops serving the music, it sucks. Plain and simple. So I sometimes like to listen to Perfect Circle. And if my system or what I'm evaluating can't play Perfect Circle, it gets knocked a couple of points. Because frankly, Diana Krall sounds great on everything. A singular acoustic guitar sounds great on everything. As long as you got a decent mid-range, you're there. So yeah, I don't get audiophile music. I really, really don't. And I don't think that you need to make sure you listen to it. Listen to what you like, and your system and the speakers that you may encounter or the amplifiers you may encounter in your travels over time will inform you whether or not they're good for all types of music. And if they don't sound good playing stuff you like, that's not the product for you. Let's see. Oh, I just saw one come in, guys. Oops. Oh, you like that answer. Man, thank you so much, Darshak. I appreciate it. I appreciate the continued support, man. My apologies for not making my question clear. Looking to your views on DTS versus Dolby debate. There's a debate? Okay, 100% full disclosure. I don't get into the hi-fi or home theater drama, be it from other creators or that exists between manufacturers. I so don't care. So if there is a debate, like which format's better, Oro 3D or this or Dolby or DTS, I am completely unaware of it. If it sounds good, if it works, if I can A/B something and go, okay, that's this, that's that, then that's what I do and I enjoy it. I don't lose sleep over any of the like behind the scenes like drama, like, oh, DTS, charges too much for a license and it's getting dropped from this, or, ooh, if it doesn't have DTS, I just don't listen to it. It's like, if it doesn't have it, it doesn't have it. And that's a decision that's going to vary to the individual. In my experience, I have found that well-recorded DTS tracks. Now, I am going back a ways. I'm not talking about something that I watched in DTS that was mixed in DTS, last month. Going back historically, I have found that I typically have liked what DTS does with their upmixing of, like, say, stereo to surround sound a little bit more than what, say, Dolby has done with upmixing to faux surround. Although in recent months and years, I have found that that gap or that difference is not as great as it used to be. And so that has informed my decision to kind of let it go. And that's kind of how I feel about it. So if you were looking for more of a debate or for me to give you some nuggets to take somewhere else and get someone else's opinion on, I'm sorry, I just don't have it. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, thanks, Todd. Thanks. We're mixing it up. Sleeper, which metal band is your favorite? Man, I still wish Audioslave was around. I really enjoyed them. I thought their stuff was great. I love Tool. I love Perfect Circle. I like them all. Michael, Polk Audio R200, best value for the money. Do you still recommend them for medium-sized rooms? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think you can go wrong with the R200. That is an incredibly, incredibly capable speaker. So still highly recommended. Cheeky, thank you for the super chat. Hi there. I don't have a question. I just felt like sending you some money because I think you're both fabulous. Cheeky, I think you're fabulous. So thank you very, very much for the support. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Audioslave, what a sound. Let's see here. Oh, Simon, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Pedro, appreciate that, guys. Really, really do. Brett, you guys are awesome. Patiently, very patiently, awaiting the Cinema 50 review before throwing money down over the A6A. You won't have to wait too much longer. All right, I think I am caught up. So I'm gonna sit here and go back. There was two more things that I saw. So here's what I'm gonna do. Guys, I have been live streaming now for 90 minutes. I'm gonna go for 20 more minutes. I'm gonna go for 20 more minutes and then I've got to take care of my Sunday duties. Let's see. So if you haven't already, before we go in 20 minutes, like and subscribe to the video. We're getting close to 300,000. I really do appreciate it. And it does help out the channel quite a bit. this, I need to update the subscribe bug because I'm seeing that it's showing 284 and we're so much closer to 300 than that. Okay, let's see. Oh, saw one come in. All right, let's do Jeffrey Beaumont. Thank you for your super chat. Any experience with a Rocket 33 cables? I have Forte 3s and the Rotel 1592 Mark II, looking to warm up the sound and heard these are great. I have no experience with the Rocket 33 cables, and while we're on the topic, I have not experienced a cable that has in any way warmed up the sound of something. If you are trying to warm up the sound of your Forte 3s, and I do understand that the Forte 3s are different from the Forte 4s, and those are the only Fortes that I have experience with. Forte 4s got a new crossover, got a slightly more, call it linear response compared to the 3s. So if you need to tame some of that high frequency energy from the 3s, I recommend using the tone controls on your 1592 Mark II because those are likely going to have a much, much, much bigger impact than cables. Thank you, though, for your support. Mark, thanks for helping me with hi-fi over the last 3 years. I want to listen to music all the time. What are your sure signs to get off the hamster wheel? And you just want to listen to music all the time. It means whatever you have is working for you. Because if all you want to do is get more music, listen to more music, and you're not obsessing over whether or not the music sounds good, then you have a great system. And so you should just enjoy it. Ray, holy crap, Ray. My buddy from back in California, the calibrator himself. Oh, everything I know about calibration, I learned from this man. Ray, love you, buddy. Thank you. If I don't know if Ray's still doing calibrations, but if you are and you're in Southern California, look him up. Let's see. Oh, Justin Kramer with an A. Man, all the Kramers are coming out. That's actually my original last name, Kramer, but Kremer. Do you still recommend the Yamo S803 as a good starter 5.1 speaker setup? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It needs a subwoofer, and finesse the subwoofer placement and setup to make sure that you really blend that bass together. And if you use an AVR with a bit of room correction, they will also benefit from that. But yeah, the Yamo S line in general is still just a lot of fun. You're not buying a reference caliber speaker. You're not buying a neutral speaker, but you are buying a fun speaker, one that you're going to enjoy and one that has style out the bejesus for such low money, and I still recommend them to this day. Let's see. Hiya, Elise? Yes, Elise. I have bought a new system, but still not happy with how my vinyl sounds. What are your thoughts on adding an equalizer? I have an Audiolab 6000A and a Focal Core 806, and I want them to be warmer. Well, you could use a an equalizer, an EQ. You can give it a shot. I would go with something that is fairly inexpensive. I know back in the day I've used a Behringer equalizer. I don't know if they still make it. You can easily use one of the, I think Shit Audio makes one of 4 different types of equalizers. 6000A has tone controls. Maybe you play with those a little bit. Warmer sound. Maybe your Coras need to be moved. That's another thing you might want to play with. Play with speaker placement. Maybe your Cora 806 need to be closer to a wall to reinforce the bass a little bit. Bump that up. That will warm the sound up for you. Definitely try every free option you can before you start spending some money. So play with speaker placement first. Up. Let's see. Just saw one come through here. Ah, Dirty Motley. Super chat. Thank you so much. My favorite app on Apple TV is Nugs, and Nugs uses Sony version of Atmos, whatever that's called. Will a Denon amp be able to process? I have no clue because I've never heard of this. Now I'm going to have, when I get done with this live stream and I hook up a Denon, I'm going to have to find this app and I'm going to have to try it because I have no idea what you're talking about. And now I'm really curious. You stumped me. You have brought something up I have known nothing about, never even heard of. And I apologize for that. Let's see. You know what? I love the channel, by the way. I figured tone controls were the answer, but you know those are more taboo to some than cables. Don't listen to audiophiles. There's nothing wrong with tone controls. There's nothing wrong with them. They're there for you to use. I mean, if you're a purist and you're like, I don't believe in doing it, fine. But if there's something you don't like and tone controls will fix it, you paid for them, use them. Oh, okay, here we go. Brian, thank you for your super chat. Which orientation of Atmos height speakers? For ceiling mounted speakers, should the tweeter woofer axis be mounted front to back or side to side? Interesting question. The beautiful thing about in-ceiling speakers is, for the most part, unless you get the downward firing ones that kind of fire at like a 35-degree angle, most of them are kind of omnidirectional with a tweeter that will let you kind of move it. You can always leave the grills off and experiment to taste. I know that our front Atmos speakers I have adjusted. Now, they're not those 30-degree downward ones. They are, omnidirectional. But I do have the tweeters slightly adjusted to kind of come down towards our listening positions. Now, the ones that are over top of our sofa are directly down, and our surrounds have the tweeters slightly coming towards us. And that's just how I liked how they sounded. It's subtle. It's super subtle. I could have just left them all in the straight down position and it'd probably been totally fine. But that is what I would do. I would experiment with that. Marcus, thank you for the support and the super chat. Hello from Kenya. Thanks for your great content. I just bought the Sony HT9A and have terrible rear dropouts, just to let you know. Man, that sucks, man. I did not have that problem. Maybe clean up your Wi-Fi network a little bit, or another thing to try is put the hub, if you don't have the hub, out in the open. Put it out in the open first. If it's already out in the open, if you can, think about elevating it. Don't put it in a cabinet behind some doors. If you can manage it, if it's not too much of an eyesore, put it out on top of the table so that there is, some air around it. Just like with all Wi-Fi devices, like you don't necessarily, I don't want to say they need line of sight or anything like that, but they definitely always seem to perform better when out in the open. Warren, thank you so much. Keep being awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll do our best. Let's see. This live stream will be up for you to enjoy at your leisure, Brandon. So enjoy. Oh, here's a good one. Thank you, Sean, for the super chat. Why do you use Apple TV over the Nvidia Shield? They are both fantastic. They are. But probably about a year and a half ago, I just said, screw it. And I went whole hog into the Apple ecosystem. So all of our computers are Apple. All of our phones are Apple. All of our smart home devices are compatible with that. And I just really, really, really like the Apple TV interface. The Nvidia Shield is great, but I have found that Google products just tend to get bogged down with firmware updates, and over time, take a little bit more hands-on with respect, a more hands-on approach with respect to managing those devices in order for them to perform optimally over time. Whereas the Apple TV remains fast, it remains flawless in its functionality, update after update. And so I just rely on it. Okay, man from Planet X. For the last couple of years, Klipsch RP speakers were everybody's speaker of choice. In 2022, the thrill seems to be gone. Klipsch fatigue. I do believe that there is such a thing as Klipsch fatigue in the fact that so many people are talking about Klipsch kind of all at once. And for good reason. Klipsch is a brand that has global reach. They are approachable. They are something that almost everyone has had some kind of an experience with, whether it be good, bad, or otherwise. I believe that Klipsch speakers are actually getting better. And I think that their newest line of reference Premier RP speakers are better than last year. But I understand that I may be in the minority opinion of this because they have lost some of their character and have started to play a little bit nicer with a wider range of music genres and movies. This is why I would continue to recommend Klipsch speakers, but I understand that personal tastes are a thing, even to us reviewers, and Klipsch speakers have always had a vibe, and it would appear that people preferred the old vibe. You know, people in my position, I absolutely prefer the new one. It is a better speaker, and they are more refined and better for it. Still not a perfect speaker, but a better one. Let's see. Oh, got a super chat. Joey the Dime. Love you guys. Have you ever listened to Ohm Walsh speakers? I am downsizing to a condo for a few years and thought the Walsh 1000 tall might work nicely for 2-channel stereo music and AV powered by a Yamaha AS2200. It has been a minute since I've heard an Ohm Walsh product. I don't want to steer you one way or the other. I can say that historically, I have found their products to be very compelling, very captivating, and very interesting. And I've always really enjoyed myself, although I have never brought myself to own their product or review it or for long-term purposes. But when I've heard them, I have thought there is a lot to like. So if it's something you're after, go for it. Let's see here. 15 more minutes. Let's see. 15 more minutes. And there was another question. This is a question I like because I came from homes that had these types of systems in it. Just curious, what's your opinion on control systems like Savant and Control 4? I used to have, what was it? Lutron and not Savant, not Control 4. What was the other one? It's escaping me. Anyway, it was really, really expensive. My editor at the time kind of pushed me in that direction because it was what all the high-end homes were doing. And so I had all my switches and everything like that. And that sucker broke all the time. All the time. I don't know if it ever worked perfectly for 24 hours. It seemed to be a great source of income for installers and people to troubleshoot for a fee. And since then, I have not engaged in any hardwire controlled system in my home since that experience. Why can I not remember the name? Man, that's so weird. Anyway, we do have the smart home products, and we use smart light bulbs. We can set up modern receivers on things like Google Assistant and whatnot. And I find that that's just easier. It's just easier. And I prefer it. So that is what I use. And anyone can dive into it. Anyone can enjoy it. And the cost of entry is so much lower. And the flexibility is just as good. All right. Oh boy. While I was answering, got another one here. Just In time. Yes, just in time. 10 minutes to go. Hello from Boise. My Labradoodle Miles and I love the channel. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate that. Intel Wild just got a $500 Denon receiver and noticed the sound does not come on until about 40. Stops increasing volume at like 70, 75. Know why it does this. Go into the Denon's menu. It's either going to be in the audio settings or general settings. I'm closing my eyes because I'm trying to walk through the menu. You're going to see a volume menu option. There will be an option for initial volume, as in when it powers up, it will default to a certain volume. And it is my understanding that Denon's all from the factory default to 40 or 30 out of the box. And it will let you set a maximum. And it is possible that your Denon has been set to a maximum of 70, 75, in which case you want to go in and you want to change that setting. If those settings are not as I describe, I have no idea what you're running into, but that's where I would start. Crestron, yes, yes, Ray, Crestron, that is the garbage that I had. That is the crap that broke. It was expensive. Oh, and I hated it. I hated it so much. Oh, whew. That, I feel better now. Got that off my chest. Oh, thank you for becoming a member, TechMed. Really appreciate it. And I'm glad you found this show entertaining. It is a lot, it's a lot more stressful trying to balance this all by myself. I miss the back and forth, but hopefully this has been worth it. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to answer. We've got 10 more minutes, guys, and I'm going to answer just a few more questions. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, I have a ton of Lutron Casey. Lutron switches, I don't necessarily have a problem with. Lutron treated me okay. Although I think I had like, what was it called? The Lutron Graphic Eye. Was it called the Graphic Eye? It's a big plate. And that like worked with Crestron. And those two things, like if I just used the Graphic Eye, it was fine. But when I wanted the two to communicate, it was kind of a mess. But Lutron switches on their own tend to be very good. Let's see. Frank, like your channel, do you think that all the extra speakers beyond 5.2 or 7.2 are really needed in a home theater? I think most rooms are not big enough to support so many speakers. Your thoughts? Me personally, I don't see the huge value in going beyond. For me, I would be happy with 5.1.2. To me, that seems like the butter zone of you get to have your cake and eat it too without going overboard, and you can hear all of the individual things. 5.1.4, you know, it's hit or miss. I enjoy it from time to time. 7.1.2, again, you know, it works. I'll put it to you this way. Everything has a 5.1 mix on it. Everything. Not everything has a 7.1 mix or 7.2. Not everything has more than, you know, 2 Atmos, you know, whatever. So you're never going to go wrong with the basics, 5.1 dot whatever. But as like being able to enjoy it, because rooms are too small. Look, if you're in an 8x10 room or a 10x10 room, yeah, you probably don't need 7 channels or more than that, 9 channels, 11 channels. But in our room, I can definitely hear a difference between 5 and 7. And doing 5.1.2 versus 5.1.4 or 7.1.2 and so on and so forth. So if you have a small room, then yeah. Holy crap. A lot of super chats just came in. Oh my God. Squeezing them in, guys. So Frank, good question. Hope that helped. Cosmic Duck. Thank you for the super chat. First, love the content. Got the Q Acoustic Concept 50s and consider using them with an AV receiver in the LS50 Metas. Could you suggest an AVR or tell me why this wouldn't be good? So are you saying you're going to use the LS50 metas as surrounds or as a center? I have no problems with the Concept 50 on a receiver. I love them on the Marantz 8015. They have been great on every receiver that we've had, to be perfectly frank. If your receiver churns out 50, 60 watts of power or more, you're going to be fine. They're not a really picky speaker. That's what makes the Concept 50s great. The LS50 metas, they tend to be a little bit more picky. But if you're using them as surrounds, you know, like I said, if your receiver churns out 50, 60 watts per channel, all channels driven, you're probably going to be fine. Let's see. Oh, there we go. David, thank you for the super chat. What would you recommend a pair of DVLA Phantoms, KEF LS52s, name Muso 2, name QB2, or Sonus Faber Omnia? Which has the best sound quality? Which has the least software bugs? Well, the name products were always flawless for us. I don't recall ever having a problem with them. The LS52s are an incredibly capable system. They have damn near everything you're going to ever want a modern hi-fi system to have. I'm going to keep it at 100. I'm not really impressed with DVLA products at the moment, and I did not like the Sonus Faber Omnia. Beautiful piece, just didn't really care for it, and that's why we ultimately didn't review it. So I would say, if this is your list, look at the KEF and look at the Muso 2. The name QB2 it's more of a, like, put it in your bedroom to communicate with other name products, but I wouldn't build like a whole system around it, whereas the Muso 2 and the LS52s can be enjoyed as kind of a music movie type system. Oh no, I apologize. I don't want to butcher your name, sir. So thank you for the support. Thanks for not being a snob and being very human. Savage Geese, Carmudgeon, and About Effing Time are YouTube channels like you. Love you guys. That's good company. That's good company. So thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Patrick, thank you for the support, for the super chat. Thank you both very much for your review of the Kanto YU passive speakers. I purchased these based on your review. Fantastic. They are so good. They are stupid good. They are stupid good. That is what I like to call, or what I'll say here around the house, that is an arbitrage opportunity, and that you get a lot for little buy-in. So many people sleep on that speaker. So many people sleep on that speaker. So many people think you have to get the Sonys. No. The Kanto YU passive is the alternative, and it is just stone cold better. So I'm so glad to hear that you are liking them. Sean, I appreciate you tuning in, buddy. Hope you're well, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. All right, guys. I think I am going to have to wrap it up here. Yeah, I think I am going to have to wrap it up. So I really appreciate it. If I can ask one favor of you, anybody watching, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out, and it does expose new people to the hobby of hi-fi, and it helps the community to grow, and it's free, and I really appreciate it. So if you can do that, if you haven't already. Also, again, thank you for all the love and support that you gave us this week. It really did mean a lot to us. And I really love what we have here. I do. It brings me a lot of joy, and when things get rough, it's nice to know that people have your back. So I really, really appreciate everything. And I really appreciate you guys being patient. Oh man. Thanks. Thank you. It means a lot to me, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done here. And I'm very proud of this community. And I hope when we're done here and when our videos are over, they make a mark, and you take what I think is the most important aspects of this hobby out into the world with you, because it's not about gear. It's not about snobbery. It's not about being right. It's about enjoying yourself, enjoying all of this stuff with loved ones. And so, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Lunch is calling. So remember, the only person who has to like the sound of your system is you. So happy listening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this impromptu live stream. I really appreciate it. And we will see you on Thursday with a brand new video. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.